Hi everyone, I'm John C. Morley, the host of the JMOR Tech Talk Show and Inspirations for Your Life. Hey guys, it is John C. Morley here, and welcome to another fine episode of, the JMOR Tech Talk Show. It is so great to have you guys here tonight, and we have, of course, an amazing show for you. I'm sure you guys know that. But before we get into the show, I do want to take this opportunity to say, yes, I want to say thank you to everyone. Thank you for watching us, all this time and making sure that, we're giving you some great content. And I know you guys really appreciate this content. And I do appreciate the fact that you guys keep coming back here week after week after week and, making the choice to learn with us here on JMOR Tech Talk. So whether you are watching us for the first time, well, you can scan that QR code at the top right or go to believemeachieve.com or coming back and watching us many, many times. Whatever is best for you. I appreciate whatever time that is, whether it's 1 a.m., 1 p.m., 12 noon, 12 midnight, 10 a.m., 10 p.m., 2:30 a.m., 2:30 p.m., whatever time works for you. I am so grateful to have you here on the JMOR Tech Talk Show. And we got a great show. Yes, JMOR Tech Talk Show Series 2, which means we're in our second year. Show 26. Yes, today is June 30th. It is the day before July 1st. Where did this whole month of June go? I mean, I really want to know that because I think it's like crazy how this... how we were going one time and then all of a sudden it just sort of changed, right? It changed out of nowhere. And people aren't really sure about, what's been going on and, our summer and everything that's been happening. But I'll tell you one thing. This has been a very interesting year. And I know there's going to be more exciting, I should say, evolvements that are going to be happening in 2023 and in 2024. So let's just dive right into the show, okay? So there is a new wearable AI pin. So there's a company called Humanoid, which was actually started with one of the developers at Apple that left and started this company. And he has this idea for a technology where you can have AI basically on your lapel or on your shirt or your jacket. And he talks about the whole concept at a recent TED Talk that technology is something that should be here, but something that then becomes invisible. My concern, ladies and gentlemen, is privacy, right? I know this is going to be big dollars and big profits for a lot of people, but how is it that it's going to work? So he used an example whereby he was calling his wife and literally the pin projected right onto his hand and he could answer the phone right from his hand. He also showed an example whereby he could be at the store and, he could scan the barcode and the AI system could tell him what was in the candy bar and was it okay for him to eat. So it's AI with a personal engine just for you, customized. But when you do that, I'm concerned about how much information is going to be kept because even though we say it's personal, right? You and I know that that device doesn't work just off that little tiny thing. It works off of the cloud. So that means the information is getting shared. And do we know if it's being put into an isolated repository, or does anyone have access to that? Do they? I think that's really my concern is going to be, yeah, it's going to be privacy, safety, and security. But this new AI pin that they are working on will be probably rolling out soon. He's working on a type of technology because he said he was the developer and creator of the slide to unlock on the iPhone and many other features like the iWatch, and he decided to, I guess, leave Apple and go start his own company. And it's called Humane, and their goal is to develop what they consider the new phase of where AI technology is going. So I know this is kind of crazy, and people are asking, how much is that pin? Well, that pin might be very minimal, but I suspect you're going to have a monthly fee. And anytime you have a monthly fee, the data is going to be stored in the cloud. So the question you might be asking me, John, is the new AI pin safe and secure? I don't think it's very secure. My fear is that we're giving AI a lot of information and it's learning, okay? And while it's learning, we don't know who is going to possibly misuse that information, such as many bad actors that are out there, right? I mean, that could happen. So again, this company is called Humane, and that's Humane. And they recently gave a demo at one of the TED Talks. But I guess the question is, what is Humane's vision? What is Humane's vision? And I think it's coming down to more profits, right? The whole idea they're saying is that you can take AI with you everywhere. Do I really want AI with me everywhere? So they've officially announced the name for their smartphone replacing wearable AI projector, the AI pin, lowercase I after the A, and confirmed again that it'll be launching later this year. And why a pin? Well, according to Humane, the AI pin is connected uh, and intelligent clothing-based wearable, which implies it's meant to be pinned to apparel and whatnot. Magnets would be the most obvious solution to attach to clothing as well. And so the question is, where are they going with this? And so is this going to help us, or is this going to be a moneymaker for them? I mean, I don't know right now because it does sound okay. My big concern is the safety and the security. Okay. And so the fact that this AI pin that you wear is going to be on your lapel. Now, you might be asking, how much is this AI pin projector going to cost? So they're saying the new Vision Pro pin is going to be somewhere around $3,500. A lot of people saying that they'll wait for the price to come down in later models, which it could. Humane's goal is for its wearable AI projector to replace smartphones and smart watches. It's likely to be priced like one. So now, I don't know if I like the idea of not having my phone. It also can scroll through your email, give you a summary. I just like the tangible idea of looking at my email. And so, we all know the iPhone 14 starts at about $799, and the iPhone 14 Pro is about $999, and the Apple Watch series is about $399. Humane's product comes with a reasonable price tag compared to that. But the question is there going to be a monthly service with Humane's pin? Will there be a monthly service with the Humane pin? I should say the AI pin. And they haven't quite um, explained that yet. And they're going with the name Humane because they're saying that good AI is humane. We're going to have to see. I'm not going to cast any judgment right now, but I am a little bit concerned and leery about wearing a pin. I don't see myself getting rid of my phone to replacing it to some pin. And I really don't want things being projected on my hand. I don't want that at all. I like the idea of using my pin. I like my Bluetooth, but I want technology when I want it, and I want to put it away when I don't want it. I don't like the idea of technology learning about me, even though it might be to my greater benefit. I just don't trust who may have access to that information. And it could be used to steal my identity, all kinds of things. So I'm not really a fan of that. All right, we'll talk more about that later. So, climate change power chips, Spur, submersible server thread. So, what's this all about? So, you've probably been following this for a while, and there's an Intel lab in Hillsboro, Oregon, and they're actually trying to share with us the future of a new cooling technology. There are 24 Intel Xenon-based servers operating while submerged in a tank of non-electrically conducive synthetic oil, demonstrating the heat management of immersion cooling. I don't know if I like this idea, but this is going to be something they're trying. When they come up with these ideas, I get the concept, but we have to see, is it physically feasible? And is it going to be something that is encapsulated and sealed? Or how is this going to work? Is it going to be they're literally in liquid? I mean, they're saying they're immersed in liquid, but they're not electrically conducive. So I don't know. I'm not really a fan of this idea. I mean, they throw all this technology out there. So we'll have to see what happens. We'll have to look at the trends. And they're saying that the liquid cooling is coming into the limelight because of the energy needs of microchips and modern CPU and GPUs, which are graphic processing units, are consuming oodles of power. And they're hoping that in turn, this will place pressure on data centers to have effective cooling techniques. And this is according to Tech News World. And so we're not talking about this, ladies and gentlemen, for your home computer. We're referring to this for large data centers that use petabytes and exabytes, right, of data. That's what we're talking about, not your home computer. All right. And there's a new spin on the advanced humanoid robot. Let's take a little look at this. So, when we think about, the fact of a robot and what's going on, and the world's most advanced humanoid robot now has the ability to draw perfect pictures on command. A robot in our world, most advanced humanoid, is leaving tech lovers really spellbound and shocked because of the ability to complete these amazing types of concepts. And the public is familiar with Amica, and previously that went viral for the ability to speak multiple languages. However, in the new video by Engineered Arts, Amica is given a pen and told to draw a cute looking cat. And whether it's a cuddle or just feeling well, this is where we're going, ladies and gentlemen. We are going this way. And I guess this coupled with new AI and the ability to reproduce. We've seen years ago where, you could take a piece of paper and they had this device that would literally handwrite letters, almost like a printer. Pretty cool, right? I don't know. We'll have to see what happens with that, but I just want to share that with you. So why is Apple and Google, why Apple and Google are going solar? Oh, this is a very, very good question. Silicon Valley's biggest companies are investing in renewable energy in a serious way, and a sign perhaps of the rapid change in the energy market. Um, so this is going to be very interesting what's happening. So in August, all of the changed when the firm will now give permission to sell energy from a Californian solar farm that is acquired back sometime last year when they got it. So Apple has invested in renewable energy. And Amazon just announced the construction of a new 253, get this, ladies and gentlemen, listen to this, 250 megawatt wind farm in West Texas. Google, of course, has invested in the Ivanpah solar electric generating system and recently joined forces with a company, SunPower, to provide solar panels to homeowners. So, for these big companies, electricity is one of their biggest costs, according to Ash Sharma, a solar energy analyst at IHS Technology. And locking in a low price is going to be very critical for them. Now, it takes a lot of energy to power modern data centers, in case you didn't know. And besides running servers 24/7, all that machinery needs to be kept cool. That's why we also talked about the new liquid cooling in the non-electric generative fluid, which is oil. And the firm says that it wants to map the planet's solar potential. And yet, the price of solar energy has been falling more quickly than some expected. At an energy auction in Abu Dhabi, United Arab Emirates, last month, a Japanese and Chinese consortium bid to build a solar farm that will produce energy at less than 2.5 cents, ladies and gentlemen, per kilowatt hour. Now, that's a lot lower than the average cost of energies like gas and coal in the United States. And of course, it is a lot lower of a bid for a solar farm yet. So it's very interesting to see what's happening and where we're going. And I think more companies are being very concerned about energy and how energy is going to affect our world. And I think that's where we are going as a world and as businesses, to be able to be more economically responsible. But let's face it, it's not just for the economic reasons and finances. They're doing this because they want to save money. It's not for the world. It's really for them. And you might be saying, John, well, how do we know this? Well, we know that they all want to save money. We know that. We've known that for a long time. But data centers cost a lot of money. And if you had to ask me, so how much does a large data center cost in power per hour to run? How much do you think? Costs a lot of money. Depending on what they're doing, okay? In data centers with 100 cabinets, the cost to power those racks each year, listen, ladies and gentlemen, how much this can be. It could be over $3 million. A large data center will typically consume about 1,000 kilowatts per hour per square meter. That's a lot. So 100 cabinets that are filled, okay, can be over $3 million a year. That's a lot. That's an awful lot. So you could see why everyone's very concerned about this whole push. And something's happening in the UK. The UK porn age checks raise privacy concerns. So United Kingdom, and obviously pornography, which is adult material, X-rated content, has been falling into minors and people that are under the age that should be looking at that type of content. And so they are starting to work on different ways to keep minors protected from this information. Because of the amended internet safety laws, the government is now insisting a lot more around privacy. So this is going to mean that the new online safety bill will require age verification on services that publish or allow pornographic content. But the DRMs, or the digital rights groups, say that there is a lack of transparency around the tools. And this is a problem. Is data being stored? People aren't convinced. They say it's not, but I really don't trust them. And so you might be asking yourself, well, how is this all going to work? So now they may be asking for things like your bank account information, a credit card to validate that this is actually you and that you are over a certain age. Or they might even ask for things like your social security number. They might ask for your age to verify that you are actually a person that is over the legal age to look at pornography. So you might say, what is the legal age to look at pornography online? And pornographic materials, allowing participants may view it if they are 18 years or older. If the material is viewed by anyone under the age of 18, it violates the law. So the United States has been working very hard in the Citizen's Guide to the U.S. federal law on child pornography, and also clamping down on data that might be getting produced and from minors, and unfortunately making its way to the internet, as well as paying these minors money. And when they see this money, you know, they are thinking it's okay, but there's a lot of, I'm going to call it the dark web out there. And there's a lot of pornography in the dark web that's not being age protected. Thus, this is going to become a real big issue. So, how will companies protect porn from being viewed by minors? They're working on it. And I think it's going to be constantly evolving. States are trying to keep kids off of social media and porn sites. Okay. And so they're really trying to step in. Lawmakers of Florida, Idaho, Iowa, Maryland, Montana, South Carolina, Tennessee, and Texas have filed bills this year to require companies to install obscenity filters on all types of devices that can be turned on when sold if the device will be used by a minor. So, and more states are jumping into this. There are parental controls, ladies and gentlemen, even on your phone. But it's also happening in the workplace. And it's happening because somebody's already logged into an account. And, the cookies are being stored on the computer. So therefore, the cookie information that was last checked an hour or two ago thinks it's mom or dad or an older brother or sister. However, with the new regulations, they're not going to allow you to be using stored cookies. They're going to have to be pulling it in real time. So if they ask you a question, I remember a game many years ago that had a theme. It wasn't really, I'll say, a pornographic game, but it was based on adult content. And so in order to play the game, you had to ask certain things or answer certain questions. And if you didn't know the answers to those questions, and they would be things basically around the time you were born or in that age frame. If it was before you were born, then you were not typical that age. Now, could you go online and research them? Sure, you could. But you only had about 10 seconds to answer these questions, or you weren't going in. I remember I had friends of mine, and they're trying to play this game, and I'm like, "You're not 18." He's like, "Oh, well, who's?" And he's asking this question. It's like, "Wait a minute, you're asking me a question. Are you trying to play?" Yeah. But just what's the answer? It's like, I was like, "No, I'm not giving you the answer." And so what they would do a lot of times is they would go ask their parents, "Mom, what's the capital of X?" Or who was the first Dick Clark movie? Or they'd ask all these crazy questions, and so people are like, "Oh, that was such and such." And they didn't realize what they're doing. So now they're going to use things that are even more sophisticated than just age check. So they might require your bank account information and to validate the owner of the account. But when we do these things, they're still going to have to grab data. And that data, ladies and gentlemen, is not going to be 100% private. I mean, we just can't presume that. They're using all these third parties. And I just see this becoming a disaster. I see it becoming a problem. And I see a big potential that not only could the site be liable, okay, but I also see the fact that later on, they could be selling this data, yes, unfortunately, on the dark web. So if you go to a site and they use like age check or something, they will typically ask you for your credit card. They're not going to charge you, but they're literally going to go to the credit card processor to see, is this a valid credit card? The chances of you having a credit card is not too prevalent, but now kids are getting smarter. So they're not only going to check that, they're going to check your information. How are they going to do that? Eventually, they could do digital fingerprints. There's a lot of things they could do. I mean, they could easily get mom or dad's credit card, right? Or they could know a PIN number, or they could know somebody's social number in the family, right? So how do you protect this? I think it gets into the fact of how do we prove that you are you? And that might be coming down to people getting issued digital IDs. But then that becomes an issue of people's own privacy. And if they're not doing anything to harm or hurt anyone, and they want to keep their anonymity, which is perfectly okay as long as they're not doing anything illegal with minors or doing anything bad online, then people's privacy should be preserved. But unfortunately, the UK is really, stepping this up. So the UK has new procedures to protect porn from minors. And I think what you're going to notice is that this is a world initiative. It's not just in the UK. The United States is definitely coming on board. And again, with this new online safety bill, the measure goes further than the bill's existing protection by bringing all websites offering any pornography online now into the scope. And children will be better protected from online pornography under the new measures to bring all websites that display it into scope of the government's pioneering new internet safety laws. And so this is definitely going to make a difference. And they actually did some research by the British Board of Film Classification of Young People, Pornography and Age Verification 2020. 51% of children aged 11 to 13 years old have seen pornography, and this number is likely very conservative. Many children, some as young as 7 years old, stumble upon pornography online, with 61% of them being 11 to 13 years old, describing their viewing as mostly unintentional, perhaps an ad site. Research published by City University in a survey of a representative sample of over 1,000 people, 16 and 17-year-olds, found that most of them, 63%, had seen pornography on social media platforms other than other pornographic websites, which was equated to 47%. Now, that being said, pornography was more likely to be seen on social media platforms more frequently than on pornographic websites. In 2021, more than 2,100 UK adults commissioned by the Christian Charity Care found the following information. 81% of UK adults agree with the statement that government should implement age verification to protect children from online pornography. Great. 79.5% of UK adults agree with the statement there should be an age limit of 18 years for access to online pornography. The 2019 research report we need to talk about in pornography from the charity of Internet Matters found that nearly half, 48% of parents, worry that online pornography gives their kids improper sex education and an unrealistic view of normal sex. Over a third, 34% of parents, are concerned their child will become desensitized to brutal or violent content. And 50% of mothers fear that exposure to pornography will give their kids a poor portrayal of women or men as subjects of abuse. So they have a lot of valid concerns, and I think we're just going to have to stay in line, and we're going to have to support these bills. And so what's going to wind up happening is, as you go to use a service, you might have to go through some extra inconveniences. But hey, if this is required to protect someone, I have no problem with it. My issue is I don't want my information being compromised or somebody attempting to steal my identity. That's the big concern. I think what maybe should happen is the fact that if you're over a certain age, you can apply for something that gets sent to you, but it's not tracked. And it's something that can be issued to you, but it's not issued to your name. They use your name to validate it, but they don't link the token to your name. It's just sent out, but there's no other linking. But I wouldn't trust a lot of these companies because we all know that that business is big money. And so they're going to want to try to exploit it. So I have a problem with that. And I think it really has to be seriously regulated. So my thoughts, kudos to the UK for doing this. And I hope the US will step in soon. So Google's to scrap the local news links for Canada. Why the heck would they do this? Well, there's a reason. It's because Canada's Parliament passed the Online News Act recently, requiring platforms just about a week ago, like Google and Meta, Facebook, to negotiate deals with news providers. And Google's move comes after Meta announced it would also restrict news content for its Canadian users. The bill is set to take effect, ladies and gentlemen, in just about 6 months. Now, a similar law in Australia was tweaked, and that legislation passed 2 years ago. Said that Australian lawmakers made changes after Meta briefly blocked users in the country from sharing or viewing news on its platforms. Now, the blackout ended when the amendments were made, and Google and Meta have since negotiated more than 30 deals with Australian media companies. So this is going to be very interesting. So Google's really concerned about their money. I mean, that's what it comes down to. It comes down to their money. I mean, it's just a hands down thing. They're concerned about their money. And they're not always going to do the right thing for the people, but they're concerned about what affects their pocket. So I know the way you get at Google is you have to hit them in the pocketbook. If you do, it's funny how they seem to respond. All right, ladies and gentlemen. So, yes, your next 4th fireworks shows may come from drones. Why? Because of environmental and safety concerns. This is being brought up. And more towns are replacing the traditional fireworks shows with drone-based shows. So, of course, no tradition is more popular with 4th of July holiday than evening fireworks displays. And again, will drones give us the same feeling? There's no pop. And for one, the loud noises from fireworks can be unsettling for a lot of youngsters and animals and annoying for others. So safety is a concern. And while most professional fireworks demonstrations do go off without a hitch, there are some that are a problem. So you might be asking a very interesting question. How much do commercial fireworks cost? So New Jersey fireworks company websites estimate the minimum cost for a firework display during July 1st to 5th holiday period at about $10,000, with an average display costing from $15,000 to $30,000. So you might be saying, well, how much do the Macy's fireworks, I should say, the 4th of July fireworks cost? And they're more, $150,000. So now you're probably going to ask me, how much do drones in place of fireworks cost? They're not going to be cheap either, right? So they're called drone light shows. That's what we call them. And so the question you're probably going to ask me is, how much is a drone light show? How much is a drone light show? So a drone light show could cost anywhere from 500, ladies and gentlemen, to 30,000. And it depends on the complexity of the show, the length of the show, and also the choreography and time of programming to put it together. And of course, whether you're going to hire a professional company or you're going to do it yourself. So a drone light show can cost from Intel, for example, about between $50,000 and $200,000. So the number of drones with 200 with solid 2D shapes and imagery will be about just under 100,000, 99,000. Number of drones being 300 with more volumetric type displays, 3D shapes, and some more animations, 199,000. For 500 drones with a lot higher resolution imagery and, of course, more detail and depiction and complex animations in scenery will be just under 300,000, $299,000. And the most premium, okay, experience, you can actually reach out to Intel for a quote. I will tell you that I wouldn't be a bit surprised if you could spend $1 million. That's pretty amazing, right? I think people like the idea of drones, but the fact that they're going to become a light show is pretty amazing. Now you have to be licensed, okay? And you also have to realize that if you're doing this to make money, you have to be licensed. So if you're going to fly over like certain spaces, you know, the animals obviously are going to say thank you. So that's a real big reason. There'll be no fires with drones. Babies, of course, their parents, and of course, animals are going to extend a big thank you. And drones can do a lot more with a visual type storytelling environment. And so you can do aerial advertising. We've heard of, the planes over the beach. Well, this is going to probably take the cake over that. And you can synchronize and integrate better with things on the ground. Okay. So this is definitely going to change things quite a bit. There are some problems with drone shows. Weather, altitude. The federal aviation regulations restrict drone light shows to be limited to 400 feet above ground level. And the FAA does grant waivers from this at times with specific permissions. Radio frequency interference. Drone light show drones use radio frequencies for command and control. And a high radio frequency noise floor could prevent operations. Also, drones monitor GPS signals from GPS, and that could cause another issue. Restricted ground area. Drone light shows need a good-sized area on the ground from which to take off and perform over. Of course, airspace and airports. Drone light shows can get approval to fly near airports and heliports and glider ports and seaports in certain types of airspaces with permission. There is time to prepare. Drone light shows are regulated, and many locations do not need extra approvals. However, some do. And there's also magnetic interference. So this is rare, but some drones have internal magnetic compasses that can be interfered with, and this will greatly affect their takeoff and landing. And of course, you got battery life. So drones can do something like a 15 to 30 minutes showtime per battery. And so you'll have to adjust your show duration or have other teams of drones to come up. Again, we talked about what affects the cost. We talked about the time, the animation. We talked about the detail, whether it's going to be dynamic animations, moving shapes, figures, whether it's going to be creative or custom 3D, large detail 3D animations or larger visuals, and using thousands of drones. So again, you've got lots of drones, you've got lots of people that have to put this together, and this all has to be programmed. You don't just put the drone and say, hey, let's go have a drone show. No, you've got to design this and then push this out. So very similar to the way you would design something for a 3D printer, not in the fact of how a 3D printer works, but just the fact that it takes time to conceptualize it. And then you have to convert that and send that off. In the 3D world, you have to slice it, and then it gets sent off to the printer, the 3D printer. So again, lots for 4th of July. And I think the greatest thing I want to share with you over this 4th of July is to be safe. Because what I keep hearing is, 4th of July holiday scams. And there's just a couple that I would just like to share with you. So these are holiday themed scams and emails. unsolicited messages or phishing links that allegedly redirect you to a greeting card because of 4th of July, a phony giveaway and voucher spam contest saying you won, online scam alerts, and phony Independence Day event tickets. So you might say, gee, it's 4th of July and I'm going to get this. Great. Remember something, ladies and gentlemen, you can always check the email where it's coming from if you don't recognize it, if there's spelling issues, grammatical issues, or if you point to something without clicking on it and you see that it doesn't actually go to where you think it's going to go to, that's a good indication that it is a spam. And once you click on that link, that might install things on your computer, or it might get you to a site that'll pretend it's a place where they need information. And they might say, gee, we've got free tickets to this for the July drone event, normally $60. Today it's going to be free. Just pay shipping and handling for just $2. Like, oh, yeah, I'll get my whole family tickets. They're free. And it's only $2 a ticket. So you buy 6 tickets and you spend $12. Meanwhile, they're going to scam you and start playing with your credit card or your bank account. So what they do, ladies and gentlemen, is they don't start by charging a lot of money. They start with something small. And then after that, they will then wait, and then they will charge something else, and then they'll charge something big. And they may even open an account in your name to open credit. And that could be a serious problem. Ladies and gentlemen, do you know who I am by now? I'm John C. Morley. I am serial entrepreneur. And you have been watching the JMOR Tech Talk Show. I want to take this opportunity to wish all of you a very happy, a very healthy, a very safe, abundant, amazing 4th of July. And best of all, I hope that you spend a lot of quality time with your family, with your friends, with your relatives, and just take time to enjoy the moment. Be sure to check out all of my amazing content at believemeachieve.com. And you know, John the Science Guy now does parties in New Jersey. And you can reach out and learn more about how we can help the people at your party become inspired to learn, interact, and grow. I am John C. Morley, serial entrepreneur. I do have to run, but I hope you have, most importantly, a great and a safe 4th of July. And I'll be back for another show real soon, which will be the 1st of July's Friday, and that'll be July 7th. So have a great one, and we'll see another show, either JMOR Tech Talk or another one of my podcasts or other daily shows or other video contents or reviews. And we'll see you soon. Be well.